Hello. Welcome to the Unit 11 review of science. This is the test that's at the end of the chapter. I'm just going to go through it, give you a little introduction and some hints. Not giving you the answers. Give you, if you listen carefully, you'll probably hear the answers. First page, 533, is a vocabulary review. The classic. Oh, look, you can see the answers. Don't look too closely. Let's read the questions. Number one, the regular rise and fall of the ocean's surface caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun is a... What do you call it? There's low and high. You know that one. Number two, when surface water is disturbed by energy moving through the water, it moves up and down in a pattern called, yeah, you know that one too. A continuous, regular pattern of water flow is called a... I suspect you know that one. They travel all through the ocean. There's some that come down through Puerto Rico like this, and they come up like that. The Gulf Stream is one of the big famous ones. Keeps Europe warm. Remember, when you write down an answer, cross it off in that list so that you know, like, oh, that's not a choice anymore. The abnormal rise of ocean water level due to high winds, large waves, and the abnormal rise of ocean water level due to high winds, large waves, and other causes is called a... Well, that happens during a hurricane. Hurricane is a kind of what? One of the possibilities has a description of what a hurricane is. So a hurricane is a kind of a... number five, the land along the edge of the ocean is called the... Don't go too far, you know that. The vast floor of the deep ocean is called the... It's a floor, it's kind of flat. What do you call a flat part of the ground? And it has that other really great word. It's a two-word phrase, this one. The other one is about the depths. The gradually sloping portion of the ocean floor that forms the underwater border of a continent is the... it is the... Okay, gradually sloping. So this is just like the kind of like the flat area. Of course, it uses the word continent in the question, and the answer is going to have the word continental in the answer. The steeply sloping part of the ocean floor where the ocean rapidly gets deeper is called the... That has the answer in the question. The steeply sloping part of the ocean. Which one of your possibilities has one of those words in it? You got that done. I'm convinced that all of you got all of those correctly. Let's go look at the rest. Next page, 534. Number 9. Sun Yi studied a cross-section diagram of ocean floor features. Then she predicted that one of the features would someday become an island. Which feature was the most likely referring to? Well, so you got the possibilities had coastal plain, which is above water. B, the mid-ocean range, which is kind of like a little mountain under the water. C, an ocean trench, which goes really deep. And D, a volcanic mountain. Which one of those has the potential to come up out of the water? Which one of them is in process of changing more regularly, shall we say? Number 10. A hurricane was expected to make landfall. Oh, God, no, please. Tuan heard a weather report that advised people to leave coastal areas and go inland. What hazardous effect was expected that could be caused by hurricane force winds? All right. Is it tides, which happens regularly, every day? B, rip currents, which also happen pretty regularly. There's beaches that you go to, you should not swim because they've got rip current to take you out. C, very large waves. Or D, beach restoration. Don't even get me started on beach restoration. You know the answer to that one as well, right? Number 11. At a beach near where Tara lives, the mouth of an inlet keeps filling with sand. The ocean current flows south to north past the inlet. Inlet? That's a weird picture. What could be expected to happen if a jetty were built to the south of the entrance to the inlet? Wow, that is a complicated question, I have to say. Here comes my son very quietly. My son submitted 2 pieces of his homework. He's so good. My kids finished on Friday. Today's Wednesday. Almost done. How much more you got left?
Like 4 things, but they're all easy.
Okay, 4 things left, but they're really easy. Excellent. Jay is all. At a beach near where Tara lives, the mouth of an inlet keeps filling with sand. The ocean current flows south to north. So it's going south to north. What could be expected to happen if a jetty were built to the south of the entrance to the inlet? It's going south to north, so it's there. Options are less sand would block the inlet. B, sand would completely fill the inlet. Less sand would remain on the beach to the left of the jetty. More sand would be built on the beach to the right of the inlet. That, I have to say, is a pretty confusingly written question. Point out, here's what I'm supposed to tell you. You want to listen to what I'm supposed to tell you? Point out that the jetty would help trap beach sand, so less sand would get deposited in the inlet. Suggest that students review changing shorelines in lesson 2. I think I just told you the answer. Point out that the jetty would help trap beach sand, so less sand would get deposited in the inlet. Which one of those is pretty much saying the same thing as that? It's a confusing one, I have to say. That one, meh. Number 12. On a field trip to the coast, Ronnie observes sea anemones, crabs, small shrimp, sea stars, snails, and small fish in rocky pools. That's the cue, in rocky pools. What ocean system is she observing? Hydrothermal vents, which we know are at the bottom of the ocean where volcanic gases come up, so it's kind of the bottom of the ocean. Intertidal zone, that area where the water comes in and goes out and sometimes remains in tidal pools. C, nearshore zone. D, open ocean zone. She was at the coast. She was along the shoreline. I don't think she went to the open ocean zone. What's right there? What's right on the coast? What's right on the edge with those tides coming in and coming out? 13. The picture shows how the shore looked when Yuri arrived at the beach in the morning. He saw many seabirds landing on the beach. When he left in the afternoon, the area was covered with water. Most of the birds were gone. Which sentence best explains why the seabirds left the shore? So why did the seabirds leave? First he got there, it was obviously low tide. The bottom of the ocean is exposed to all kinds of good things to eat. And then later, it was high tide, and it was all underwater. A, it was high tide in the morning and low tide in the afternoon. B, the organisms in the tide pool were most exposed at high tide. C, the organisms in the tide pool were most exposed at low tide. D, the organisms in the tide pool were washed away by the rising water. When is there more things exposed? At high tide, when the water comes in, or at low tide, when the water is down? That's the answer to that question. 14. The living community surrounding a hydrothermal vent is different from other ocean ecosystems. What is the main reason for the difference? A, it has fewer types of organism. B, whales, sea turtles, and squids swim in and out of this ecosystem. Well, they swim in all kinds of ecosystems. C, its food chains do not depend upon solar energy or plant life. Well, that's anything that's in the deep ocean doesn't rely on the sun because it's so deep. There's no sun down there. There's no sunlight down there. D, it is faster to build a living community because of volcanic activity. What? All right. Which one of those makes more sense? Not the one that said I said what, that's for sure. Number 15, look at the map. What does the dark arrow represent? A, winds caused by El Nino. B, the movement of all water in the Atlantic Ocean. The movement of water in the Gulf Stream. Or D, movement and depositation of sand along a coast. Well, what ocean is that you're looking at? There's North America and Africa and Europe. What's the name of that ocean? You know that from social studies. That's going to give you your answer. 16. Scientists in a submersible travel deep into the ocean. Which of the following factors in the environment will increase the deeper the scientists go? What is there more of? Is there more light as you go to the bottom of the ocean? Is there more oxygen? Does the temperature go up? Or D, water pressure? Kind of answers itself, that one. What gets more? Certainly not less sun. Sun, yeah. 17. An iceberg made mostly of fresh water is melting. Which sentence describes the most likely effects of this process? A, the surrounding water will decrease in salinity and increase in temperature. B, the surrounding water will increase in salinity and temperature. C, the surrounding water will develop a warm current like the Gulf Stream. D, the surrounding water will decrease in salinity and temperature. Well, imagine an ice cube. As an ice cube melts, does it make your soda warmer or colder? That's the key to that one. And of course, it is from, remember, it's from fresh water. So as it melts, it's fresh water. It has water that does not have salt in it. It has no salinity. Last page. Ooh, the essay questions. Number 18. Eric wants to model the effect on the surrounding water of an iceberg melting in the ocean, as described in the previous question. Describe an investigation he could carry out, including ways to measure the results. Well, I kind of just mentioned one possibility. What you have around your house that's kind of like an iceberg, and it's not your dog. 19. Explain the importance of a submersible in helping scientists study the ocean. Submersibles are underwater craft, underwater vessels. They're not submarines, because submarines are for military use, as we've learned. Submersibles are an underwater submarine, not for the military. What do they use those for? Just tell me what you use the submersible for. Pretty straightforward question. Oh no, more math. Number 20, the chart gives information about the different zones of the open ocean. What can you infer about the physical environment of each zone? What difference would you expect to observe in ecosystems of these zones? Well, there's 4 zones. The sunlit section, the twilight section, the midnight section, and the lower midnight section, which I think should be called the after midnight section because it sounds more cosmopolitan, but they call it the lower midnight. And it tells you the depth from 0 to 200. What happens, all I just want you to tell me is, as you go deeper in the ocean, what happens? Describe, you're in a submersible. You are in a submersible. And you're in the top. Sun's shining down on you, and you go down. What happens as you go down to the bottom of the ocean? Describe it. That's all it is. I think you're going to do fine in this one. It's all pretty... I remember all the answers are in the text. And remember, science exams, oftentimes the answers are right there in the question. All right. Good luck on it.